are the Stop Wearing My Clothes podcast. I'm Kayla.
I'm Amy.
Two
what?
We can't figure out if it's two sisters, one podcast.
Or one podcast, two sisters. So maybe give us a vote.
I like that. This is episode number 2. It'll be coming out the same day as episode number 1. And we've got some pretty exciting guests. You want to talk about that, Amy?
Yeah, so we have our husbands on.
Woo woo!
Yeah, we talk about
hotties.
We talk about our relationships. We ask each other some fun questions, and it was a good time.
So, just to give you a little taste of what this is. Oh, first of all, make sure you ask us the relationship questions. DM us on all social media. Put comments in the podcast comments wherever you listen or watch. Or you could email us at stopwearingmyclothespodcast@gmail.com. So
get ready.
Keep watching. Hello. We've brought the men. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Jared. I'm Amy's
Marcus.
husband.
And then I'm married to Jared, and then Amy's married to Marcus.
Yeah.
No, opposite. So stats. Tell me the stats, Amy and Jared.
Mm.
We have been married for almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, how long were we together?
It's like 3 years.
3 years?
Yep.
Which
3
time?
years. Yeah, exactly. There's a story for that one.
Yeah.
So we met in 2014. We dated. We were best friends.
Yeah.
And then we dated for 7 months, and then we broke up and went into the dark ages.
For a year and a half.
Was it really that long?
Yeah. And then after a year and a half, he just couldn't live without me any longer. And so here we are.
Understandable. Yeah. He had a very questionable haircut. He needed Amy very badly.
It's already getting long again. Imagine this down to my neck.
And then we've been together 10 years next month. And then we're married for 6 years and 2 months. And we were best friends for like a year too. So guys, become friends before you bang.
Or bang and then become friends. I don't know.
Yeah, either way.
Just make sure friends are.
All right, guys. What's it like being married to us? Lovely. You could come up with other very similar words. Continue.
I don't know how to compare it to anyone else.
It's always something new. At least for us, it's always
like a podcast.
like a podcast.
Yes.
Or a new place to live every year.
Yes, we move around a lot. We're in LA now. We've been at the house for almost a year. We're already thinking about moving. So that kind of tells you all you need to know about our ridiculous life.
Yeah, you girls are always trying to do something different.
Yeah,
you guys are kind of leading the way. At least maybe that's how it is for our relationship. Amy's definitely the leader in the relationship for a lot of things. But it's a good way. It's a good thing. It's confidence.
You need a good balance.
Direction.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
We're opposites. I'm more of like the creative, crazy one, and he's the stable, analytical one.
Nice.
Left brain, right brain.
Mm-hmm.
Together, a whole brain.
Exactly.
Just one.
Not two.
Well, it's better than over here. There's one brain in Amy's head and there's no brain in mine. So
there we go. At least we get to share it.
All right. Why couldn't you be married to Kayla?
Oh, man.
Be kind of nice.
Yeah. It's probably just personal differences more than anything that's actually mean. Let's see. I don't know how much we can dive into this because we don't know each other on that level, but I think I'm too emotional for you. I think Amy allows me to get a lot of my emotional issues out of the way. I don't know if that would work between you and I. I might not get that emotional release I need.
See, Marcus has a heart of stone, so maybe I need a little bit of that emotion.
I think I'm the opposite. For the same question, I feel like I don't have enough emotions, and I don't. I don't share enough emotions either. So I
feel that. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I'm just like a rock. That's it.
I gotta pull it out of him. I've seen him cry once our whole relationship, and that was just in the past couple of years.
Yep.
Wow.
I've cried
Yeah.
millions
You
of
cried
times.
in my arms like a tiny little baby.
Not wrong. Yeah,
Amy, I
so-
believe there are some questions you've come up for my husband that he does not know about. It's all secret.
Well, to be fair, I
Okay,
don't know
so-
any of the questions, so
Yeah, I didn't give him a heads up. We
I
were
don't know
busy eating
anything.
pizza.
Okay, do you want me to just do one and then you do one and we go back and forth like that?
Sure, that works.
that sounds fun.
Okay, so Marcus, where do you see you and Kayla in 5 years?
Yeah, I feel like it's I feel like we in 5 years we always change everything every year. So in 1 year we'd probably be somewhere where most people are in 5 years. So
So in 1 year.
yeah, in 1 year basically.
Sure, that's fine.
But we'll probably be like moving. Who knows where? We'll probably have kids, and our whole our whole life will be different, and definitely even a year from now, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think the next few years are going to be big ones.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Hopefully the move involves coming closer to me.
Mhm.
Maybe. All right, Jared.
Here we go.
If you and Amy were stranded in the forest,
Mm.
how would you provide for her?
Well, let's just assume that I have everything that I always have. So I'd have a first aid kit, have a little pocket
Always
knife.
have a first aid kit.
Whenever we go out, yeah. She bought one for
Well,
me.
you
for
go
Christmas.
out on like hikes and like go on top of mountains and stuff.
Exactly. So you always have to have some kind of preparedness of. You got to have first aid kit, and then we'd have some snacks and water. So it kind of depends on how long we were stuck out there. Because if it was like 2 days, I'd probably just starve us and we'd live off of the little snacks that we brought. But if it was like indefinite, I'd have to get my pocket knife out and start hunting. I'd create a spear. And
I think you'd be dead, Amy.
let's see. There's fishing line and hooks in my first aid kit.
Is there?
Yeah, I went through it.
Oh,
There it is.
wow. That's
Yeah.
actually really
Yeah.
impressive. How would you take care of me?
Hopefully,
We don't even have a first aid kit.
We would die immediately.
I'm surprised if we even have band-aids in our house.
I don't know. I'd find a way. We'd survive. And honestly, I would probably have fun that whole time. She'd be freaking out, but I'd be like, you know what, babe? Let's just take some pictures while we're here.
Some good IG content.
Yeah.
Okay, Marcus, what was your first impression of Kayla?
That's a good one. I definitely felt like she was like a fun person. I know it's kind of a boring answer, but our whole first time we met was pretty weird. So, but I think we spent the rest of the night coloring in a coloring book.
Yeah, the first night we met, we were coloring in a color book at Starbucks. The rest is history.
That's awesome.
That's true love right there.
All right. Jared, tell me something that you've learned about relationships since being with Amy.
Ooh. So, it goes without saying that this is the strongest relationship that I've ever been in, the most trying relationship. And with that comes a lot of new experiences. The first thing that comes to mind, and this is something I found out right after we got married, when you marry someone, when you're in love with someone, when you commit to someone, you really learn how to love them for who they are. And it goes both ways. And I think that's something that Amy and I found. So what I learned is that you really have to be true to yourself and be true to your partner. And in that, you can find a real deep love. So I think that's it.
How much did you pay him to say that?
Just a $1.
Dollar.
Okay, Marcus, would you rather endure childbirth or wear high heels all day?
Wow.
I think
That's a good one.
obviously high heels is like lesser than the childbirth. So
But
Well,
yeah,
you won't headed to work. Do it, but he would rather wear high heels.
you would rather wear high heels for a day than go through childbirth. So I think that's agreed upon.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, kind of sucks for you though for childbirth.
Yeah.
Do you think people at work would make fun of you, Marcus, or you think you could just rock it?
For wearing heels. I
Yes.
think. Well, the people at my work think I'm super stylish, and then I'm really hipster. So maybe they'll just go along with it.
Yeah. There we
Wow,
go.
that guy's
We're in LA. Everyone's open.
Oh yeah, we're in LA. It's okay here.
All right. Flipping the next page. If you had to compare you and Amy to a Bachelor couple, who would you choose and why?
Oh my
That's
gosh.
a good one.
So I'll preface with I don't know a whole variety of Bachelor couples, but
Okay,
really,
we'll go more into
first
that later
thing-
on.
yeah, the first thing that pops into my mind is Jared and Ashley I.
I could totally see that.
Yeah, that's funny because obviously I'm Jared, and hey, you have the same first letter.
Yeah, it's
A
pretty
for
close.
Amy, A for Ashley.
Yeah, I'm a
and
big crier. I was a
yeah,
crier for a
big
while.
crier. Have your moments of crazy
And they have quite the ups and downs.
and pretty obsessed with me. Pretty obsessed with her.
Yeah, she is. We're so happy. That's super exciting.
Yeah,
She's
that
having a baby.
Did you
So
see
yeah,
her
shout out to
post the
Jared
other
and
day?
Ashley I.
Oh, sorry, what, Jared?
Oh, I said shout out to Jared and Ashley I.
Yes, you're awesome. Did you see
Yeah.
do you follow Ashley I on IG, Amy?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, you should if you don't. She was literally it's the most ridiculous picture of her just like looking dead on the couch and says if you are going to have a boy, you like glow and become more beautiful while you're pregnant. If you're going to have a girl, you become uglier. It's just like the ugliest picture possible. It's really good. I recommend 10 out of 10 check out that post.
I did see that actually. That's really funny. And I was a beautiful pregnant woman, not to boast. So, and I had a boy, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's a thing. I actually have never heard that before.
I have that like little girls suck the beauty out of their moms.
I mean, it kind of makes sense.
What is yours and Kayla's dream vacation?
It's a tough one. I think we would not go somewhere tropical. We probably would go somewhere. I think we always talked about either somewhere in like Europe, whether it's France or like the UK or Iceland's been our biggest thing lately. So not necessarily tropical, just more of like just something unique we would go to.
And I say in the next 2 years, we go to Iceland together and we have a podcast in Iceland.
Ooh.
Let's set it on our calendars.
Yep. Marked.
Do you just call him Mark?
No, I said marked.
Oh, okay.
Marked. Yep, we're doing it.
All right, Jared. Pitch our podcast to our listeners. Why should people tune in?
You have tough ones.
We'll make this right into a commercial. Get ready.
Yeah, here we go. Well, you never know what you're going to get. That is the truth. And that is any conversation that you two have, recording or not. You never know what you guys are going to end up talking about or what's going to come out of Amy's mouth. So I'd say, yeah, to all those listeners, to anyone that is listening for the first time and thinking about recommending this podcast to other people, stick around. It's going to get crazy.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, these ladies only have one speed, and that's fast. And I'm sure Marcus and I will be back. So if you want to hear more from us, maybe we'll get into more golf conversations.
They don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we'll save you from golf conversations. That's what.
There we go. Yeah, maybe we'll never be on again.
All right. Now we are going to play Most Likely Couples Edition. So I think I'll start this time.
Yeah.
All right. Which couple is most likely to create a family band, like a musical band, like the Partridge Family?
Ooh. That's hard because I feel like me and you, Kayla, are both very not musical, and both the boys are. So maybe they should just make their
we'll
own
have
band.
our own band, and then we'll just maybe.
Oh,
Well, You guys would be singing. I feel like you guys would have definitely better singing voices.
I've got
That's
some
true, yeah.
moves. I could play a tambourine.
Okay.
I could wiggle a little
Yeah.
bit.
All right, I'm sold. You guys can
All
have
right,
the
we
band.
win. We're most likely.
That's good.
I kind of want that. We have a team of 3 over here. Little Jack,
Dude,
he loves
he knows how
strumming
to
on
play
the
an
guitar.
instrument
Well,
and was already in
Yeah,
a band.
I was in a band.
Band experience.
Yeah,
over
we have a
here.
CD and everything.
Big Dipper, check it out.
Ooh,
Is it
okay.
anywhere?
Nope.
It's nowhere. So
Yeah.
just think about it.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, we lost.
Right. Which couple is more likely to do something spur of the moment?
Us.
I don't know. I mean,
Oh,
they,
okay.
they went and like traveled somewhere.
Yeah.
I feel like we would make a bigger giant change, but I feel like you guys would rather just do something.
Yes.
I definitely agree with that. I feel like you guys are like big spur of the moment people. Like, tomorrow I'm going to just move across the country. Let's do it. And we're like, let's go on a vacation tomorrow.
We're on vacations.
And we're just
I think for
vacation.
you,
We're
most
done.
likely it's more geared towards yours. So I say you guys get this one.
Nice.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Which couple is most likely to become president and first gentleman?
Oh.
That's
I like that.
hard.
And
I don't
notice
think
how I said first gentleman, not first lady. Because
Oh, okay. Then definitely you.
Yes.
agree.
Definitely you guys. Then.
God bless America.
The
Is that the right? No, I think that's the wrong one.
other side.
I did the wrong side for
I don't think
non-YouTube listeners.
I'd take that back.
No.
you don't win.
I'll
you
just
don't win
do
the election
both
now.
just in case.
That'd be a scandal there.
Oh, gosh. Which couple is more likely to argue in public?
You guys.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the easiest one.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't
You wanna-
argue. Have you guys even seen us argue?
No, but I've seen you annoyed.
Yes, that happens.
Yeah. We just get annoyed at each other.
And then we just don't talk to each other for a
Yeah.
while.
And we're confrontational more.
Yeah, I guess
We're
so.
getting better, but
Yeah.
and I mean we're not gonna scream and yell at each other in public.
Mhm.
I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I think
And
is
we might
really
be more-
interesting about our choices is we both chose guys from the exact same family almost. They're the youngest of 2 brothers with parents who are still together with similar communication styles, right? Your guys' family are a little bit more, you know,
I'd say a little bit less. Whatever you're trying to say, a little bit less.
yes, then my
Communication.
family is a little bit more. So I think it's just like really interesting how, yes, Jared and Marcus are very different, but like that we both chose almost, I mean, there's just like in psychology, there should be a lot of actual like similarities between the 2 because of their families, how similar they are.
Yeah, I feel like we needed to be balanced out a little bit because like our childhood was so loud and wild, I guess I'll say. So I don't know. So we chose like guys that can kind of even us out a little bit.
I agree. Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
they definitely
While
have
we're on
that
that
in common.
How much, both of the girls then, how much do you guys think me and Marcus, look like your dad?
Oh, we're going right there.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a problem. Both Marcus and Jared have very dad-like qualities, but that's normal. Like, it's science. People
It
are
is.
attracted
Like
to
daddy issues science?
what?
Like daddy issues science?
No, it's like you're just any type of daddy issues, just no matter what, you are more likely to be attracted to someone with similar qualities to your dad. It's totally a thing. Google it, guys.
Okay,
Google.
but I've also heard the same about mothers, and I feel like, at least physically, like I don't think either of us look like their moms at all.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've only heard the dad thing, so
Oh, okay.
I'll have to Google that and we'll figure it out. But yeah, I don't. I definitely think that's interesting. They both. I think it's their smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dark haired.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out, Dad.
Okay,
Love you.
Yeah.
He's really excited. He texted me today saying that our launch is on his calendar. So he'll be
Oh, and
listening.
he FaceTimed me today and I didn't even call him back and I just remembered.
All right.
So love you.
Yeah, she'll call you back soon. I think you're up.
I definitely don't have another one.
Oh,
So
okay. I have
you're
one
up.
more. Which couple is most likely to live a secret crime life?
Ooh.
Secret crime life?
Yeah, like part of like the mafia, or we like on the weekends we rob banks.
That is so hard.
I don't think we have time for any extra life.
Okay, so
we've
guys.
got a baby.
All right, us. I think that's correct.
Yeah, I mean the chemistry background.
He make meth, just like
drugs.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Likely what it'll be.
Yeah, I think Marcus's initial reaction to that question says it all. What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We would never do that.
Bo ad time. So, because we are a new podcast, we don't have sponsors or brands yet. But we want to show you what we can do because, man, we are funny. We are getting our stuff out there. So,
say it, girlfriend.
So, I wrote a fake ad, and Kayla has never seen it before, and now she's going to be giving it to you all right now.
All right. I'm ready. You got that stank that just won't quit. Yeah, me too. Well, I'm so glad I found, insert brand name here, it could be you. What once was stank, now is dank. Is dank good?
Yes.
Oh,
I
thought stank and dank is bad. Apparently,
no, I think
okay.
it's dank.
It's
what once was stank is now dank.
It's now dank. Give me that fresh breeze scent. Run and get your, insert brand name here, Dio to get rid of that BO. Solid rhyme. Solid rhyme. Back to your regular scheduled program. So I think we got some relationship questions, right, Amy?
Yep.
The guys are going to be with us to help us answer. You'll get a girl perspective and a guy perspective.
What does a healthy relationship look like? I'll start.
Go for it.
I feel like good communication is number one. And yes, it might take some time and trial and error. That does not look very pretty. But at the end of it, I feel like all the fighting that may occur or like lack of conversation like gets you to a place where you finally learn how to communicate. And I think that that's the most important thing in a relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I think communication. I don't know. I kind of want to second that, but I'll try to think of something else. But like, I feel like it took us like a good 7 years to get to a right communication.
Yeah, it took some time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, because I think you have to open up that line of communication because it's not like you just start talking and then everything's fine. You really have to become vulnerable with your partner and you have to allow yourself to dive into your own emotions along with feeling the compassion toward your partner's emotions as well. And that's when it gets tricky because it seems that it's easier to kind of get frustrated with one another when you're dealing with so much raw emotion, both from you and your partner. Mm-hmm. And so learning how to communicate in a healthy manner, that makes a huge difference in a relationship.
Yeah, and during that communication, trying not to take things personally, because I think a lot of the time, at least with me and Jared, like he would tell me how he felt about something and he just wanted to be able to tell me how he felt. But I would just take it so personally and then I'd get mad at him for having feelings and that's not fair at all.
Yeah. And then from a guy's point of view, when something like that happens, it feels like a consequence when you try to express your emotions. So you don't want to. You flat out don't want to do that anymore. And so over time, that can just lead to resentment and bitterness. And that is just going to eat away at your relationship.
Relationships are hard, man. I actually...
Work.
Sorry, what?
I just said work.
Yes, as Britney Spears would say, you better work, bitch. And I kind of have a hot take that I would like to share is I actually think respect is way more important than like love in a relationship especially when you're together for such a
Mhm.
long time. I feel like you have lots of ups and downs of like, oh, just being so in love with this person, like especially in the beginning. And then, sometimes it just is a steady kind of just like, or sometimes you're just completely over the person. It's just like the most normal thing. But the thing that I think really
Mhm.
like sticks you together is having that respect for someone. I have never lost like respect for Marcus. He's always just made choices that have just made me even more like fall in love with him because of the respect I have for
Mhm.
him.
Mhm.
So for me personally, I've loved and unloved Marcus so many times. Like, I don't know, it's just like it goes in waves, but I've never lost respect for him. And I feel like that's what's like really kept us together and always has the love coming back into our relationship.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Love is just a
At least
feeling.
speaking for myself, yeah, yeah, that's a good way to put it. When Amy and I are going through hard times, the respect plays a big part in that because when you stop respecting each other, that's when you stop the communication, you stop the happy feelings, everything starts to go downhill. I could say you probably could base a lot of a solid relationship upon respect alone because stuff's going to build from that.
I completely agree. I feel like that's like my biggest fear is ever something happening where I lose respect for him because that's something that's never happened before. So that's kind of scary to me. But the
Mhm.
love, I feel like just,
Mhm.
comes and goes and we always come back together. I don't know. What do you think?
I have a different respect. I mean, I like the whole respect part of it. I agree, but I don't feel like I have many ups and downs in my emotions. So,
Well, I'm just crazy. He's a lot more stable than I am.
so I don't have to worry about like the love really going in and out, as much.
Maybe it's because I'm so
Yeah.
lovable.
That's probably it.
But Marcus is very lovable
No,
too.
he is. Look at him. Look how cute. Cool. So did we answer? What was the actual question?
Yeah.
Did we answer it?
What makes a healthy
All right.
relationship? So respect,
Respect,
communication,
communication,
work.
and work.
Mhm.
Yep, I think that's a solid top
Yeah.
3, guys. Good work. I think we just saved a
Yeah,
relationship.
definitely. Mhm.
Should we do another one?
Sure, go if we have more.
Yeah. I'm really bored of my spouse. How do I know if it's time to give up?
Why don't you start with no matter what, you're probably going to get bored with your spouse, with your partner. At some point, you're going to get bored with them. It doesn't have to last forever, but you're probably going to feel that way.
Yeah.
So,
So just knowing that going into a relationship.
Mhm.
And okay, so wait, what was the question?
how do you, well, can we tweak the question? Because
Sure.
the question is, when do you know when to give up?
Okay.
I mean, we can answer that
Give
too,
up
but we could
now.
also put that in light.
I'm just kidding.
We can think of it more as a what do we do instead of giving up?
There you go.
Because we've been there. We've
Yeah.
been close.
Yeah.
We've had that feeling of like what is left in this relationship.
Sure.
Yeah.
And when it happens, it's hard to look at it with optimism and think, oh, okay, let's just start planning more date nights. Let's
Yeah.
just do this or do that, and then we'll feel better because it doesn't always feel that way.
Yeah.
But we made a lot of good strides with doing small activities like open communications, structured questions that really invoke thought into how you're feeling about each other.
And kind of trying to go back to the basis of your relationship and what like made you guys fall in love in the first place. So for us, we always would go hiking together and take pictures and do stuff like that. And so I feel like when we started to feel that way, we were like, well, what have we not been doing?
Mhm.
We haven't been going on dates. We haven't been like putting in any effort whatsoever. So I think that kind of goes back to the work thing. Like if you kind of forget to nurture your relationship, it's gonna get to a place that you're not happy. But when you get to that point or when you feel yourself starting to feel that way and you're like, okay, now's the time to come up with an activity or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's like a choice, really. You just have to wake up every day and choose that person.
Mhm.
Like how you said too, it's kind of like that
Yeah, I
lifestyle. Like
agree.
what is it that you guys do that just keeps you away from just being at home doing nothing? Like for us, even going out for the weekend, like at least once during each day or
Even
something.
just like errands.
Yeah, it just makes you feel like you did something and you're not just doing nothing. I think that's for us. We
Mhm.
had to like it gets a different you feel different if you're not being productive or you're not doing something or you're not sharing some activities or something. If you're just at home watching TV, you kind of get in a funk.
And I get to show them off as eye candy at the grocery store. I don't know, actually, because I haven't said Whitney Cummings' name yet in this podcast, but I have something that she said that I think is really interesting. Is like when marriage was like first happened and people were starting, it's like, oh, let's get married. Humans' lifespans were a lot shorter. Like I was in my last few years right now at 28 years old. And so I don't think marriage, the thought, when someone came up with the thought of marriage, they didn't think of it as like 50 years. They thought of it as like 10.
Yeah.
You know, so especially
That's
once
crazy.
you get to that point, like we're hitting 10 pretty soon. We're not dying anytime soon. Hopefully. So it's just like, it's different. And I think marriage is different than what it was when it first, you know, when people first started getting married. So also just knowing that, I think helps me. I don't know if that's weird of just like, you know, this wasn't meant for something super long. So, I mean, if you want it to be like that, it does take work and it has to be what you want. And sometimes I think maybe it's not what people want, and that's why people get divorced. And there's nothing wrong with that. I actually think getting married and making the decision to get a divorce for yourself is something I can respect because they're doing it for them. And that was successful. They got something, they learned something, they grew, and they're like continuing on with their lives. But I just personally choose to continue on my life with him, you know? So I don't know. I think that's really interesting and kind of made me think. So thank you, Whitney.
Well, and I think it's also looking at your own self and not like, okay, am I bored with my relationship or am I bored with myself? Am I happy? Am I doing things to make myself happy or am I relying on the other person to make me happy?
That's a lot.
Really, we can't rely on anyone to make us happy. That's not a thing. And I think that a lot of people go into marriage with this happy, lovey feeling. And instead of, they just, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. That happens to me a lot. I'm a mom. I got mom brain.
I like where you're
going.
It
has some legs.
Yeah. So if you're at that point in your relationship where you feel like giving up might be your answer, but you're not entirely sold on that, don't always look at the relationship as, okay, it has to be fixed within this relationship. There's a lot of work that you can do for yourself to grow, to pursue new activities, hobbies, stuff like that, that will allow you to escape the, let's say, funk that you're in that relationship. I think that's kind of what helped us spice things back up, as we both found out what
like the salsa from last episode.
We found out the things that made us happy on our own, and then we were able to come together and share that with each other. And so that just put us off on a better start had we not recognized that.
That's a solid answer.
I feel like
we're changing lives. Changing lives over here. Is there any other ones, or do you want to move on? Cool.
Let's move on. Is there anywhere to move to?
More question, and only if they can come up with them. I want to ask most of our guests that we have, just since we're a relationship podcast as well as The Bachelor, if like the best advice you've ever gotten about relationships. And it doesn't have to be like we've been talking a lot about romantic relationships, but it can be about friends, family, you know, whatever.
For listeners, if there's any male perspectives as well, anyone that's out there, it's a guy that's listening, let's open that conversation too. I think a lot of men in our generation are in between the previous generation of real hardy men that don't necessarily dive into emotions to this next generation that is a part of this progressive society that really wants to open up as human beings so everyone's treated equally, everyone is on the same level playing field, and emotions are a big part of that. That's something that I've struggled with over the last couple of years. And so the more that I figure out who I am emotionally, the more in tune I feel with myself as a whole.
So the last thing I did want to do is just make sure He's a chemist. He doesn't really need any plugs for our social media or anything like that. But on the other hand, Jared is an amazing photographer. What do you want? How can listeners find you? What do you do? Tell me so people can find you.
All right. This wasn't set up. It really wasn't. I didn't know you guys were going to shout me out. Heck yeah. So we'll start off with this.
So excited.
Jared Neiman. Go to Instagram. I'll spell it out for you. JaredNeiman. You'll see my photography. It's mainly landscapes on that page, but I also have a second page that's Jared Neiman Productions. Same spelling with PRODUCTIONS. That's my second Instagram. If you really dive into this, let's go for the third Instagram that I manage, and that is Jared and Amy Adventure.
Okay, that's both of us.
You'll be able to keep up with both me, Amy, and Jack's a part of that one too. We've got an almost 1-year-old baby.
He does weddings. He does. What else do you do?
I'm really open to all kinds of photography, minus the dirty ones. I'm not about that part. But yeah,
Amy will
family
let
photos, couples, seniors, like seniors.
Wedding videography.
Not that I'm opposed to that, but no one's reached out for that.
No one yet.
Yes, after this podcast, your retirement homes are going to be chasing you. Well, thank you so much, guys, for being on. I know it's, not what you do normally, so we appreciate it. You'll be getting lucky tonight.
I had a great time.
Oh, get lucky.
I speak for Amy as well. And thank you guys so much. See ya. Maybe I'll see you again.
Cheers.
Okay, cheers.
Let's cheers.
My dear shine. We have some really fun episodes coming up. Next week, we are going to be doing me and Amy, our first kind of solo relationship podcast, and it's going to be about your relationship with yourself. So you can look for that actually Friday, so 2 days from when this podcast comes out. Lots of good content. And we'll also be doing Bachelor in Paradise recaps every Wednesday. So Amy, tell them about our new schedule because we switched things up a little bit from our last episode.
So on Wednesdays, we're going to be coming out with a Bachelor in Paradise recap mini-sode. And then on Fridays, we're going to have relationship podcast come out every Friday.
Yeah, so more content. 2 episodes every single week. And we're really excited for it. So we also just kind of our basic, please help us out. So your support is like literally so important to us and we're very excited for it. So we're going to be doing relationship advice questions every episode as well as some episodes dedicated to it. So please send us some. We need some. If you send us an email, that's a really great way. It's stopwearingmyclothespodcast@gmail.com, as well as all of our social media channels as well. Our social media, where can you find us? Where do you follow us? Where are we active? Amy, give us all the details.
Okay, we would love reviews on our on Apple Podcast. And comment, subscribe on YouTube, and we'll be on Spotify. We'll be on a lot of different podcast networks. Is that what they're called?
Hosting? No, it's networks. Everywhere you can listen to podcasts, we're going to try to be on.
Yes.
And then social media accounts. Where are we?
Okay, Instagram. Stop wearing my clothes.
It's all some type of variation of Stop Wearing My Clothes podcast. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Reddit, Quora. What else is there out there? We're going to be on more. If there's more social medias coming out, we're going to get on those. You'll be sick of us. We are going to put our podcast so in your face that you won't be able to forget about us. So every Wednesday, Friday, come to your favorite podcast or YouTube place and watch. And
we'll keep it fun. We'll keep it interesting.
Yes. No, we're putting a lot of effort into our content. So, and if you have ever any suggestions or comments, feedback, please let us know. This is very new to us. And so we just really want to make the best show. And that's our main focus. And also just having fun because this is also just a thing that we get to do as sisters. And I think this episode is done now.
Yeah.
Episode over. Bye. Woo!